Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Excellencies, participants, I have the honor to present the report on cooperation with Georgia, contained in document A/HRC/59/66, as requested by Resolution 5733 of this Council. The report contains information on key human rights developments between 1 June 2023 and 31 December 2024, an assessment which forms the basis of the technical assistance provided by OHCHR's Senior Human Rights Advisor and team in Georgia to the government and other institutions. The report also covers human rights issues and challenges in Abkhazia, Georgia, and the Tskhinvali region, South Ossetia, Georgia, as requested by the Human Rights Council. We thank Georgia for hosting OHCHR's presence in the country and for continuing cooperation. As part of our engagement with Georgia, we note a series of recent legislative and political developments that may have significant negative implications for human rights and democratic governance in Georgia. These include the law on transparency of foreign influence, which risks restricting civic space and limiting freedoms of expression and association. Similarly, the law on family values and the protection of minors may promote hate speech, intolerance, and misinformation, potentially undermining a wide range of human rights. Additionally, amendments introduced in December 2024 impose new restrictions on protest activities, potentially conflicting with Georgia's international human rights obligations. We are also concerned by the expedited adoption of restrictive laws, amendments, and regulations passed by Parliament throughout the year, including recent amendments to the law on grants. These legislative processes have not only lacked public consultation and transparency, but also amplify existing risks to freedom of expression and association, equality and civic space, and political pluralism. We are concerned by allegations of politically motivated persecution of opposition leaders. The Office also remains seriously concerned about the reported human rights violations in the context of public protests since 28 November 2024. All such allegations must be promptly, independently, and thoroughly investigated, and those responsible must be held accountable, and due process rights must be respected. These developments warrant ongoing dialogue and careful review to ensure full compliance with Georgia's international human rights obligations. OHCHR stands ready to provide technical assistance to support alignment of these laws and practices with international standards. Excellencies, regrettably, the authorities in control in Abkhazia and South Ossetia have not granted access to OHCHR, despite this Council's repeated calls since 2017. It is essential to address the ongoing allegations of human rights violations identified in our report affecting ethnic Georgians in Gali and Akalgori districts, as well as those residing along the administrative boundary lines and displaced persons. We reiterate the call to lift all undue restrictions on movement and to fully reopen all crossing points along the administrative boundary lines with Abkhazia and South Ossetia without further delay. This is essential to facilitate freedom of movement, mitigate the adverse impacts of current restrictions, and ensure equal access to the full exercise of all human rights. Amid ongoing restrictions on the use of Georgian as a language of instruction in Abkhazia and South Ossetia, which affects the ethnic Georgian population in Gali and Akalgori districts, it is essential to guarantee access to quality education for all without discrimination, including the right to receive instructions in one's mother tongue. We call on the authorities in control in Abkhazia and South Ossetia to promptly and thoroughly investigate all allegations of violations of the right to life, as well as torture or ill treatment. They must intensify efforts to establish accountability, provide redress to victims, and prevent their recurrence of such abuses. We also urge an immediate cessation of arbitrary deprivation of liberty in Abkhazia and South Ossetia, practices that primarily affect ethnic Georgians. All related concerns need to be addressed, including by conducting a thorough review and promptly resolving alleged or suspected violations in accordance with international human rights law. OHCHR remains committed to supporting efforts within the framework of the Geneva International Discussions to improve the human rights situation on the ground. Finally, we call on all relevant actors to implement the recommendations from this and previous OHCHR reports submitted to the Human Rights Council regarding cooperation with Georgia. I thank you, Mr. Vice President.